showing no bias for any organization, industry, or party. This is the NoBS World News.
Good day, Americans. Stand by for news. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today that consumer prices rose by more than originally expected for the month of January, driven by a sharp increase in egg prices amid an outbreak of bird flu. The Bureau said they expected an increase of 0.4, but prices rose instead by 0.5. They also noted the average price for a dozen eggs in the United States in January was $4.15 per dozen. In a 52-48 vote today, the Senate confirmed Lieutenant Colonel Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. Gabbard, a 23-year Army military veteran and four-term Democratic Congresswoman from Hawaii, will oversee and coordinate the country's 18 different intelligence agencies. She was sworn in by Attorney General Pam Bondi this evening in the Oval Office. After completing the last of his confirmation hearings, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is expected to be confirmed as Director of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services tomorrow morning. "60 San Diego fire rescue workers responded this morning and saved two Navy pilots after they ejected from a Growler fighter jet that crashed in San Diego Bay, according to authorities on the scene this morning. In Russia today, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the United States will release alleged cybercrime boss Alexander Vinnik in exchange for the recently freed teacher Mark Fogel. Last night, Russia launched 7 ballistic missiles and more than 100 drones in a wave of attacks on Ukraine, killing 3 people and injuring at least 16, including a 9-year-old girl. This according to authorities at the hospital in Kiev. At a NATO summit in Brussels today, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth called NATO membership for Ukraine unrealistic and suggested Kiev should abandon hopes of winning all its territory back and instead prepare for a negotiated peace settlement with Russia backed by international troops. Hegseth told attendees President Donald Trump is intent on getting Europe to assume most of the financial and military responsibilities for the defense of Ukraine, including a possible peacekeeping force that would not include U.S. troops. This position will likely impact Vice President J.D. Vance's discussions later this week when he and other senior American officials meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at a security conference that's happening in Munich this week. Earlier this week, President Zelensky suggested making a deal with the United States, offering Ukraine's rare earth elements and minerals in an exchange for continued American military support. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in her daily press briefing today that President Trump has spoken this week with both presidents, Putin and Zelensky, and may be meeting them sometime soon. President Trump said he may be meeting Putin in Saudi Arabia soon. Measles cases are on the rise in the United States and Canada. According to statistics the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention gave us, the contagion has been detected in Alaska, Georgia, New York City, Rhode Island, and Texas, and in the Canadian provinces of Quebec, Ontario. Over a 2-week period, 2 adults and 14 children have been infected. 2 are currently in the hospital. An international tourist visiting South Korea's southernmost resort island has tested positive for measles there, making it the first case of the highly contagious disease on Jeju Island in 5 years. In a video released Wednesday night, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned Hamas that if their remaining hostages are not released by Saturday at noon, the ceasefire will be terminated, and Hamas, he said, will be decisively defeated. Police in Durkeeville, Florida, arrested a former University of Connecticut basketball player yesterday after finding his mother shot to death. According to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, they arrested Eric Cobb, 28, Tuesday after discovering the body of Erica Winford, 51, covered with blankets and towels in her backyard. A teacher in South Korea is in recovery after stabbing and killing one of her students. This happened this week before she attempted to take her own life. Police are investigating the crime, which took place Monday at an elementary school in Daejeon, that's in west central South Korea. 2 children ages 9 and 10 died of hypothermia. This happened Monday inside a van parked at a Hollywood casino in Detroit, Michigan. The mother told police her family was homeless and lived in the van. She said she had requested help from the city services but had been refused. Officers from the Detroit Police Department found the family Monday. Amid still sub-freezing temperatures in Detroit, that's in the Greektown neighborhood area. A Cuban woman in the United States illegally faces life in prison after 16 people died in a human smuggling operation. Court documents show that Jacqueline Dominguez Nieves, 26, pled guilty Tuesday in Miami federal court for conspiring to smuggle people into the United States. She faces a minimum sentence from 5 years to life, pending a hearing coming April 11th. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano erupted again this morning, the 9th eruption since Christmas Eve. According to U.S. Geological Survey, lava fountains reached 16 to 200 feet high with no injuries or damage reported. And that's been true since for all 9 eruptions. Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshima Hayashi said this morning that Japan has formally asked for an exception from the United States' 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum. According to Japan's finance ministry, $2 billion in Japanese steel was exported to the United States last year. We'll just have to see how the White House responds. On the music front, Mariah Carey, Chubby Checker, Cyndi Lauper, Bad Company, Joe Cocker, Billy Idol, Outkast, Soundgarden, and Fish are some of the 2025 nominees for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. And finally, Monday night, law enforcement in Las Vegas and surrounding areas took hundreds of 911 calls reporting a UFO buzzing over Arizona and Nevada. However, what callers described as a large white streak in the evening sky turned out to be just another Elon Musk SpaceX rocket. And that's today's NoBS World News. I'm H.L. Arledge, and for Wednesday, February 12th, 2025, God, I'm getting old. That's the way it is.